Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences, raw conversations, one destination for it all. E360 TV.
Good morning. How long can I hold it? That's what you get for 45 minutes on the treadmill. See, I'm so excited. Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. And I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and I tell you every day there's no place in the world except for Fiji that I would rather be than right here with you, and you. And I mean it. I mean it from the top of my soul to the bottom of my heart. So how are you? Welcome to today's installment. It is the 25th day of February. We are almost at the end of the month, and I'm going to keep pushing it. I'm going to keep asking, are you on point? Are you in alignment with your goals for Q1? You've got one more month to get those things, pull the trigger on all of your goals for Q1, because that's the momentum, that's the springboard that we use to move into what's in front of us, Q2, 3, and 4. Can I get an amen? So listen, that's the bell of purpose. You know what it means. It means that when you hear that bell ring, that something wonderful is happening in the way of content, right? So you don't want to keep these things to yourself. All of us has an innate desire to be a part of something a little bit greater than ourselves. Here's how you can make that happen. Start that trajectory right now by sharing out this broadcast. Send it to one person. One person. You never know what someone is going through or headed towards. And we're going to give you something to give away that's going to help no matter what kind of day we each encounter. Again, can I get an amen? Help me welcome, as always, to the show, my sidekick. This is my female Ed McMahon. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, and we are sipping on some buttery toffee. That's what they call it. So let's get going here. First of all, 2 words. Is it 2 words? Yeah, it's 2 words. Mercury retrograde. I think that somebody told me it was like fading out or something. I think that thing is just as bright and busy as it was a few weeks ago. Everybody's been all over the place. This week, I average maybe 1 cancellation per quarter on this show, 5 days a week. This week, count them. 1, 2, 3. 3 of them. Then my guest for today, who will remain nameless. Oops, I guess I just told you without telling you. Sorry. Anyway, sitting up here 5 minutes before, and you try to be all sweet and hi, good morning. What the hell are you? That's exactly how it was. I was, ooh, Lord Jesus, I almost had to get down on my good knee. Oh wait, I have a new knee on both my good knees and pray for some discernment, right? So anyway, he's here. He's in the green room, hiding out, no doubt. Anyway, my guest today is a good friend of mine and has been with me. I went on my social media yesterday. I actually went into my messenger and went back to our very first conversation, which was in 2017. And I bet he doesn't even remember what that kind. Don't go looking. I see you looking on your phone to see what I'm going to talk about. Get off that phone. So he's in there trying to catch up. Not going to happen. So anyway, we're going to talk about that and also vaccine. I just want to get this in here during the monologue. Did you see they put it out that, remember about a month ago, Dr. Hal was here and he's the big guy from Ohio, and he flies back and forth between 2 hospitals, New York City and Ohio, Cincinnati. And he was telling me off camera, and then I told y'all that he said, Lauren, if you can, wait for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. It's a 1-step vaccine. It is the safest out there, the most tested, and that it also is 100%. If you get COVID, you won't be hospitalized or die from it. Right? Okay, I can deal with a little cough or something. I ain't trying to get on no ventilator. Okay, ICU are not 3 letters I want anywhere near my vocabulary. Right? So anyway, it's coming out supposedly. So we'll see. I'm waiting until then. I'm locking it down. I'm staying in the house. Now, Brian, he's going to his aunt's house this weekend in Iowa, and they have the lowest numbers now. So we looked about it, and they don't go out of the house at all. So he's going to be gone. So I'll be putzing around here trying to do all the stuff that I never get done. Not that he's a distraction. I'm just saying, And today, I want to remind you guys that this season on Bathrobe Moments, our theme is Show Me Your Soul, which means let's just get real. Can we agree to just get real, right? Just share our joys, our concerns, our knowledge, everything we have that has made us the great people we are with each other. If I can learn just one thing from you that saves me a speed bump or a dip in the road, it can make me that much of a better person. Look for the ER in your life. Don't get up thinking you have to start and build a story today for your life out of all 26 letters. You really don't. You don't need the entire alphabet. Trust me. You only need 2 letters, that E and that R. Because when you wake up, you're already great. Get up and make it your intention. Set a purpose that you are going to find an ER to make great greater, bright brighter, and smart smarter. One more time, can I get an amen? So hi, good morning, honey. My guest today is Jordan James Gilman, like I told you. Jordan Gilman is a visual storyteller, also a digital content creator and a marketer. And don't hold that last one against him. There are good ones out there, as you will find out here today. Since getting his first start in the online world at the age of 9, 9? What in the world? Okay, we'll find out. He has gone on to consult and manage digital brands for top-level CEOs, professional athletes, musicians, and $100 million lifestyle brands. He's also the person who has done 90% of all of my digital things, including these wonderful lower thirds, Bathrobe Moments you see down there, up there. And if I were to pop off the screen, you'd see some more stuff, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, without further ado, you know how we do it here on Bathrobe Moments. Put your hearts together, put your hearts on the screen, send light, love, and welcome Jordan James Gilman in Bathrobe Moment style. Here he comes. get this.
Hey, just
how did you make the background blurry?
So it's actually a feature with my computer.
Oh, you ain't told me about that.
I told you I was pimping out my camera last night.
Oh, I thought you said you were
made fun of me
out.
the other day about my camera. So I actually, I wasn't gonna do this, but I had a couple of jokes for us here. So I got my mansion.
Oh, I'm used to that. All my coaching clients every week are sitting in somebody else's house.
I was like, where does he want to find me? You got the joke about the lab.
Okay. All right. I see how I like that first one. It doesn't even look like a green screen, that first one.
And then I was hoping to find, under a bus so I could work my way out of the bus that you just completely steamrolled me with right there.
No, threw you under. Scared me to death. Y'all know I'm old. But it doesn't take much for my heart to start palpitating, and you never know what it is. You can't assume at 58 that I'm just excited. No. So I just want to say, well, I'm glad you're here. I thought that this would be a great time. Yeah, we're starting to move into the last month of Q1, and a lot of us entrepreneurs and people that have things on the plate for down the road in this year, we need to talk about this thing called social media marketing, digital content creation, all of these things, because I really believe now more than ever, it is a great equalizer. It's a chance right now for every small voice to have a large stage, to amplify their message and get it into the hearts and the minds and the spirits of people in the world who are right now, and they're not just hungry for something positive. Trust me, they're starving. These are tumultuous times at best. So I'm glad you're here. Do you remember what I reached out to you for about to get your to see if we could work together on all those years ago?
The first thing I think of is your website.
Nope, that's what I thought too. But that wasn't it. I reached out to you. We were looking for someone to create our wedding invitations.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That's completely left field. I feel like looking at as far as how things have kind of conspired since then. You know what I mean? As far as like the changes that both of us have gone through since then.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever even thought of trying to get like a wedding invitation project or anything like remotely close to that.
You were bullshitting. That's what you were doing.
I want to say,
you were like, okay. Well, you did say.
I was really just figuring this crap out, to be honest. So.
And what I loved about it is you were honest. You were right out there. You're like, well, I've never done that, but I'm sure. And I said, let me get you some samples about some of the things we like. And then I don't know what happened, but Brian took over all that stuff and
I don't think that ever.
No,
we moved on to the website pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, those I wish I would have gone with you, because those invitations ended up coming from some country like Italy or Paris or someplace, France, and expensive. But that's just another story. That's for another day. But anyway, yeah. Then I worked with you on building the LorneMichaelsHarris.com website, and
V2, which I think we're V3, V4 now. So it's.
Yeah, we've just kept growing and growing, and you've been, I'm really proud to say that I've been so blessed that out of all of you that I initially started working with at the front end of this career, all of the same people, same photographer, Scott Gain.
Right.
I still do all my events here in Chicago with Sarah Stan at the Stan Mansion. You. And I mean, everybody that's been with me from the beginning, and that's a great thing. A lot of us, and let's talk about that. Let's start there. A lot of entrepreneurs will spend a lot of time not doing due diligence or not tying into the law of attraction when something feels right organically, and then they keep going from place to place, spending money, not getting what they want, spending more money, not getting what they want. Then they spend enough money and say, screw it. I almost said something. Screw it. And I'm just going to put this out there, and then it's nowhere near what their message needs to say or their brand needs to present. So give us some tips. Let's start off with some tips. Well, first, tell everybody where you are in the world, who you are, and give us a little insight outside of what I said in that brief bio about how you got to where you are today and what you're doing for folks down there in Atlanta.
Right. So I'm actually in more West Georgia now, but still pretty much greater Atlanta area. If you're down here, that's pretty much all that's here. Yeah, so I've been down here for a couple of years now. I just want to go back because I remember your reaction when you read the little bio blip there about me starting at 9.
Yeah.
Which to be like, I'm actually turning 30 next month, so to give you kind of an idea of how long I've been doing this.
A whole 30?
Yeah. So
Wow.
once I cross over, then who knows where these skills are gonna go. But I've been like, 9's probably not even accurate. It's probably earlier. That's just really the first time I remember, like, I was, designing, creating stuff on a computer. I was literally, I was right here on my dad's knee playing video games at 2, 3 years old. So I've been, I've been blessed. A lot of people can't say that, especially just, even in today's world, some people still obviously financially, or, you can't even get internet access still in some places, which just blows my mind. Just being blessed to really, I think, to have a dad that was like, I see where this technology stuff is going. He even tells me to this day, he's like, I knew, that's why I was like, I need the latest technology, that kind of stuff. Because the way the world works, where 20 years ago, 30 years ago, might not have been as obvious. Nowadays, if you're not getting your kids immersed in technology and all that, because you got some sort of animosity towards them on the screens all day, you're probably hurting them more than anything. Looking back, at least how it worked out for me, but it could go both ways though. So just to be clear, because there's the internet has its good and bads, obviously. So
oh yeah, absolutely. So when did you start realizing that you could make some income? From
I was like 13, I think, when I got my first check mailed in. This is before I really knew what online payments were, because I didn't really have or know how to figure all that stuff out. I was really doing, it was a lot of MySpace band stuff.
Oh, I forgot all about MySpace. Good Lord. I was never on it.
Because that was, during that, at least my generation, middle school, early high school, before Facebook really blew up and took off. MySpace was the hub. That was
that was like the starting point.
That was like, you wanted to find out new music, myspace.com/music. Like I still listen to bands that I, first learned about in there. And it's just, it was one of those things, because the reason I really got into this creative stuff is, even as a kid, I would see like business signs and the menus and brochures and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, how do they do that? Like how, like who's creating this stuff? And then that kind of turned into the MySpace stuff. And, you saw the major, RCA Records, Columbia Records, these major bands that had these overlays, complete overhaul designs. That's how I started coding. was MySpace.
I want to just say to Sherry McQueen, talking about it's done with, my dear. Retrograde is gone. Oh yeah, I beg to differ, because it's some kind of grade. Retro, stretro, it's something, because something is going on still. So anyway, okay, Sherry, thank you. Sherry's my go-to for proof of everything. She'll get on Google for us in a heartbeat.
Fact checker.
Yeah, she's a fact checker.
Your resident fact checker.
Exactly. I love it. And welcome. Good morning to all of you out there from all over the world. I just want to say hi to a few of you so we don't take up too much time. But Lori Whitney, Sherry McQueen, Coach,
a lot of the names I see in chat, these are the same names too I've seen for.
Oh yeah.
I think this is my third time being on here with you. I think I was on way early, and then kind of in the middle, and then later here.
Yeah.
And like Sherry, Charles, I want to say I've seen. You've had the same.
Yep.
And that it's funny, because that's one of the things I was going to talk to, is that's proof of an authentic brand right there. You got people that have stuck by your side and listened to your message for years.
Right.
Meanwhile, everyone just wants their viral moment, and they just want to fly by night. So it's a big difference.
Right. Good one, Chuck. Coach Chuck. Retrofit your purpose. Hard to say, but still enough. That's a bell ringer. That's a good one, Chuck. Thank you, Coach.
There we go. We got
and Kids Mapawana for us. Hi, Michael Dean Newton. You're new. Welcome. Yes.
There we go.
Yes,
so we got. It's a blend. Perfect.
Yes, it is. It is. So I wanted to start by this. Let's go here. Now, most people have at least banners and things on, say, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms. Give us a banner. Now, when I'm coaching with people, that's the first thing we do, what I call an SEO inventory. We go in and we look at, because they come with 15 different accounts, and some of them they haven't used in 15 years. I can't stand when there's a banner and half the person's face is cut off, or they have a quote or a message of purpose, and 3 of the words are missing. You know, yeah, when you click on the thing, you can blow it up and read the entire message. But when I believe that the very top is the top for a reason. It's where we begin, or when we click on something, why doesn't it start at the bottom? Because it starts at the top where the experience begins. So I feel, and you tell me how you feel about this, I think when we half-ass do those things, we are sending a subliminal message, if not overt, to the person, you know, the experienced person, what is that called? The follower, the viewer,
right? The visitor, whatever.
the visitor, yes, the visitor.
Whoever's
There you go.
experiencing
The user. That's
yeah,
right. And you're not making it user friendly if you're making them feel like something has been stolen from them already. You know, you're cheating them.
Or adding extra steps, like.
Well, you're cheating them. I'm talking about the banner that's half-assed done. So let's start there. What about, I mean, because people think, oh, it's just a banner. And they think in the middle, you know, some of the social medias, your profile picture is over to the left. Some it's in the middle. And then so talk about the stages you go through, how one banner doesn't fit all. And one message for my LinkedIn message should be different than my public figure page on Facebook. Talk about those elements and how people get started, or what can you do to help them do better with their organic messaging and the stages of putting together a solid message on your websites and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. The main thing is people want to see obviously some form of like consistency from you, making sure, you know, your branding is consistent throughout, but that doesn't mean just have one banner and slap it on every single platform. Literally, like you said, it's funny you said that. No banner, it's not one size fits all. You know, literally you have to make a separate size for Twitter, for LinkedIn, for Facebook, YouTube. They all have different dimensions that they're looking for, different layouts. And the sad thing is these change almost on a yearly basis, at least, maybe. Facebook's gone through how many variations? And I see people that haven't even updated their stuff still from 4 or 5 years ago, you know, and people pay attention to it. People really do watch that stuff. People are getting smarter. The internet is still a baby, I think. Obviously, it's still very, very new. Like realistically, as far as, you know, the potential of it. I agree. And people like I was saying earlier, like, you know, a lot of people the last 5 years, 5-10 years, it's like, how can I get my viral moment? How can I just get that overnight success, that overnight virality? And like, you know, nowadays people are really starting to see through the BS and sift through it. Yes. And
user savvy.
And they're gonna, and this is something I've preached for years, whether it's websites, just the overall branding, the banners, content in general, where people can tell, like, if you're not a graphic designer, people are probably going to be able to tell in your content, in your work, if you're trying to do it yourself. And that's where, you know, obviously some people that it's just, you know, financially it's easier for them to just handle it all themselves, where there's things you can do. There's, you know, like with Canva, you can kind of create your little template, your look and feel, your style. So it's like, even if you're not using like the pro tools that I use, like Photoshop and Illustrator and these kind of things, like the resources are there to create something that's clean, consistent.
Right.
Google's going to be your best friend, because like I said, it's almost like every quarter, every 6 months, there's an updated article on social media graphic dimensions. It'll literally give you a whole breakdown of, this is where you're like, this is the dimension of profile picture. This is even for like posts. Say you want to post an image just on your feed or like videos and stuff like that. Like, it'll give you all that information. So, and that's like first page on Google when you search social media image sizes or sizing 2021.
Right. So here's the dilemma a lot of us find ourselves in, and even some people don't even realize it until it's too late or whenever. But what I'm talking about is there's so many little bitty intricate things. For instance, mobile versus PC. When I throw a banner up, if I create a banner, one of the first things that should be on my list of to do is to actually split it. I think, because I'm creating two different things. I'm creating a banner for mobile, and I'm creating a banner for Instagram. I mean, for you know, for PC, and they're different. You know, and just like Instagram, everything in Instagram is in portrait. Is this portrait? What is this?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then on Facebook and stuff, landscape. So
Right.
what do you suggest people do? I know you can get a tutorial on just about anything if you go to YouTube. How do you feel about those? And how do you find out who knows what the hell they're talking about? Because a lot of those how-to things that I go to, because I go there first, I always go to see how old it is.
Right.
Because it could be totally, sometimes you go and the stuff they're telling you to look for, to click on, don't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah. Literally. And that could have, you might be watching a video that's 2 years old, and
which doesn't seem a long time ago.
They could have changed their platform the day after that video came out. For all you know that and that video could literally just be 2 years outdated.
Right.
And that's where, like, there's a lot of sources on YouTube, obviously. YouTube is basically, I mean, it literally is the Google of video. So you go in there and you know, any keyword you put in, but I usually go kind of like how I said with the social media guide 2021. I like to use keywords like that.
Yeah.
Just because this stuff literally is changing so rapidly.
Right.
Where there's some good guys out there. I don't know any off the top of my head because I kind of skim on YouTube a lot, where I kind of bounce around because I'm like, okay, well, this part of this video is perfect. Now, you know, I can attach it with what I got from this guy, you know, because you don't necessarily have to get stuck on one as well. There's, like, I guarantee if you go on YouTube right now, try to type in social media, even like imaging or sizes, there's probably videos on there too.
Oh, there's
probably hundreds that have been uploaded in the last few days. You know what I mean? So that's where it you know, trying to vet it, as far as you can't really. This is where social media is tough, because your first things, well, I'm going to look at how many subscribers they got, how many views they have, how many, you know, the engagement on the video. But that you can fake all that now, unfortunately. So that doesn't really even mean anything.
Not really, because you know, you think you are. You're not fooling anybody but yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because you're not going to get engagement.
Some people don't know how to check for that stuff still, though, unfortunately.
Well, I don't want to get ahead too much, because we're going to get to that ooey gooey chewy center of social media known as engagement, which is really the end of the road. That's what we're trying to get out of it all, when we are honest about it, is engagement. We want people to have an experience that they're talking about, that they're sharing, that they take with them, even when whatever you've posted is not in front of them, it's still in them. Yeah, they take it home with them, so to speak.
That's the long game.
That's the long game. Exactly right. Exactly right. So let's talk about how a person, because before we get to all those different elements to put something great together, you have to have what you're going to paste in there, which is how you're going to tell your story, your images, your photos, your video, all this stuff. And, you know, I remember when I first came to you for a year, remember every month you were under retainership, and you were creating all these memes for me. And the reason I chose at that time to pay a professional to do that is because I kept seeing, I had Canva. I was even in the pro world of Canva, but I had heard people say, yeah, I hired somebody to do some professional whatever for me, some digital marketing or some design, and it came out looking like something done on Canva. And I was like, I'm doing my stuff on Canva. Oh, I don't want to do that. Right. They're going to bust me out. So I started looking. How does a person know, Jordan, when it's time to call in the professionals? And how important is it that when they do come to a person like you, that they have their messaging as clear as possible? And what are some of the suggestions for getting that message to the point where you can do something with it when they do come to a person like you?
Right. Yeah, the main thing. So I'm just trying to think on that a little before I just kind of jump in. I mean, it's not like I don't think this, going back to how social media is not one size fits all. I don't think everyone has kind of the same moment as far as when they're ready necessarily. Some people could literally get by for years doing Canvas stuff, just because it really depends on, like, if you're targeting probably like more small local community kind of thing, you probably don't need Fortune 500 quality per se, like, necessarily.
Right.
Not to say that you shouldn't, or that you should skimp or anything like that, but there's a little bit more room to work with in some scenarios. And I think if you notice, for example, like if your content doesn't look how you want it to look, if you're not able to get it how you want it to look or what you see in your head, or if you don't feel that it's moving the way that you think it should be moving, you know, you feel like you're exhausting all your options as far as trying to make this thing happen without spending a dime on content creation, other than, you know, you doing it yourself, then it's, you know, it's that'd be, I guess, when you should probably try to get some help, you know,
Try to get some
like get a
help from
coach,
somebody.
really, you know, where whether it's like, it might not even be that the quality of your content, like your graphics might not be poor.
No,
There might be something else that you're missing. You might literally, yeah, right. That's where going to the message part, you know,
because I know people that have $10,000 websites,
mm-hmm.
you know, and big agencies behind them and get zero. You go there. I mean, I've had people come to me to create commercials for, and I go in and try to get a feel for the background music of their story. And
right.
if you will, and I see all this great stuff all over their website, all over their social media, and zero engagement anywhere. Not a single like, not a comment. And I believe that we do these things. It's like curb appeal to a house. If a person is shopping and they want to stop to see if this is a house I want to invest in, it's got to look like something they want to live in, or at least go hang out in. It can't look like, oh Lord, who lives there? Get them out of here.
So you pull the curtain back and then
you know, exactly. So a lot of people put the cart before the horse. You know what I'm saying? And what I like about the Canva thing, or any free trial period of something, is it allows me to, number one, get in there and see if it's user friendly for a non-techie guy like me. But it also, when I start, even on Canva, when I first started trying to make my own memes, at least it taught me the size of my, you know, my message. Don't be too wordy. It taught me how much room there was. Where's my call to action?
Stuff that you wouldn't know. Like,
if I wasn't,
I know that because I use that I do this stuff all the time.
Right.
You, in your head, you're like, well, why can't we do it like that? But then it's like, until you do it, you don't see why you can't do it that way.
You don't see it. And a good thing about doing it that way is you teach yourself as much as you can handle.
Right.
And that way, when I come to a person like you, at least when you ask me, well, what is it you want to look for? I remember one of the first things you asked me about my website was to provide you with a couple examples of websites that I liked.
Right.
You know, and tell you what I liked about it. What was it about experiencing?
That's where I'm like, if there's literally one section on this website that you like, this feature, this color, I need to know. Even if it could be this website could have 100 pages on it. We're looking at one little section. But
we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that. When we come back, you guys get your social media questions, website questions together. We're going to give those to the expert today, Jordan James GILMAN of Digital Dope, when we return from our commercial break. And he built my website, so we're going to share that with you so he can take you down you know, through the process of how he built it, why he put what he put where, and when is it that you might have too many damn tabs. We're going to find out about that and some other things when we return. You guys don't go away. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. We're halfway around the clock lap, and we have our guest today is Jordan James Gilman, digital media creator, design expert for social media, and he is here representing his organization, Digital Dope. And before I bring him back, I just want to say thank you to our sponsor for today, Jennifer J. Hammond of SiriusXM, the Jennifer Hammond Show, and she's got this wonderful summit, which begins tomorrow, the 26th of February through the 28th. It's a 3-day summit. Great people there. So excited to be on the stage with Jack Canfield and all the other great speakers. So go to my page. You'll find out more information there, or just simply go to jenniferhammond.com. Jordan, we're back. So before we went to break, we were talking about a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to get into the layout and how important. Okay, so a person is starting. Let's say we have an entrepreneur here today who is beginning, say, March 1st, putting the pieces together to be able to go live with their brand 1 month later. And so where is the first place to start? Is it a Facebook page? Is it a website? Do you get one thing started so the website could be created while you're building out your little pages? So where is the first go-to?
I definitely think in 2021, especially just moving forward, that the website is still everyone. Like if you're a business owner, a personal brand, having your own hub that you control, your domain, that you have full control over. Facebook could literally take you down like that, and your hands are tied. You're at the mercy of their platform, their rules, their systems. We've seen it with Australia now, with their whole stuff with having Facebook having to pay for news and all this kind of stuff, where they're like, we're just cutting it. Then see you guys. They had pages just taken down without notice.
Oh wow! Oh,
so
goodness.
it's you're always at the mercy of other people's platforms when you're on Facebook, Instagram, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, all these different platforms, Clubhouse. Clubhouse, you could literally grow up 100,000 followers on any platform, and Twitch is a big one with live streaming because they've been lately trying to enforce their terms of service a lot. There's people on there with. Oh yeah, but it's kind of changing too. It's kind of shifting a bit.
It's changing.
But so they're trying to, I guess, take more control of how things have been ran there. So not letting things just run amok. People just get away with whatever harassment and things like that. Okay. Where there's people that have, you could have 2 million followers, viewers, and all that. Have one of the most viral pages on there, trending pages, and they'll ban you.
Okay.
So that's where as long as you're on somebody else's platform. I mean, it's in simple terms, it's living in the U.S., whether you like the laws or not, you've got a set of rules to follow, a system that you have to live under. And when you break those rules, you go to jail. That can happen in social media too.
Coach Chuck, you're here. You know about Facebook jail, don't you? He's an ex-con. He's an ex-con with Facebook. So
I know people that have been in there for like 3 months.
I know.
Holy
I've never been in. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I've never been. So wait a minute. So here's something. Before we get to the cost and everything, average cost of a great website, because it doesn't have to be $10,000. My site is proof of that. But there are a couple additional costs that are optional. Well, one of them is and one of them isn't. And I want you to talk about how important they both are, because I had an experience and you remember it when I brought my hosting. My hosting over to you. Yeah. Hosting is one thing, and SSL certificates that you pay. You get SSL certificates. I think mine was like $199 for each of my websites every year. And that's the little lock that's up in the corner when you log in, and your software will tell you sometimes.
That's the verification check.
Right.
That like everything how Instagram has the verified. That's
right.
That website's verification badge.
Absolutely. And I know my computer software that is there to, for protection. If I go to a website, and because I have all my stuff stored in here, all of my banking and everything, it won't let me. I used to be with my old software, it would let me override and proceed anyway.
Right.
Even though they warned me. This one won't. Absolutely not. You're not going, turn around, find another way to do this. And so talk about that, because I know a lot of people, especially nonprofits or people that have a donation tab, anything that's going to collect my my banking information, and they're not secure, and I will not go there. I'm not comfortable. So talk about why that's important, and what questions should a person ask when vetting out who they want to host their website with.
Right. So first things, like I said, that having that little lock, that's the badge now. So that's almost to the point where, like, Google Chrome actually will say not secure and stuff like that at the top now.
Warning.
And it's not to scare you per se. It's kind of the standard now. Like, just because, people are, especially as we move more, exactly, as we move more into just a digital centered world, where we're at, I don't even know what percentage we're at, but it's like each day we're increasing gradually.
Well, the pandemic.
Yeah, that turned it from like 25 to 75% digital.
Right.
And
the criminals have gotten more savvy during pandemic, because it is just so crowded out here. It's harder for them to get caught. All kinds of things. People are more desperate. So all kinds of things.
And people that weren't really using they weren't sitting on Facebook necessarily all day, or Google all day, where they only could do it during their breaks or when they got home from work.
Right.
Where as soon as they're stuck indoors all day, they're literally using their computers or phones all day. So you're just more susceptible, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just, I think it's like there's a lot of hosts now that actually. So we might have to do some checking after this. So the SSL certificate, it's literally
not that,
or the hosting.
That's the lock. Yeah, the hosting.
The hosting. So this is how, I haven't used this analogy in a while, but this is how I look at a website, like a house. When you build a house, you've got your lot, which is your hosting, your server, where the house is, where the files live.
The house is built.
You have your address, 123 whatever lane. That's your domain, yourname.com.
Right.
And then you have the actual house, which is the actual website, the design of it, the structure, the pages. So that's basically the best way to put it, where like your hosting is like, that's your lot. That's where it lives. That's where everything's stored. That's where the databases are, all the files. And it's definitely something that you do want to be very mindful about who you go with. For example, like, obviously GoDaddy's the big one. For a while, what was the one that was, I can't even remember what it was. The one that was doing all the commercials with Danica. Was it GoDaddy with Danica Patrick? Was that GoDaddy?
I think it was.
There was another
GoDaddy's the only one I've worked with.
Because there's a lot that you see, like, there's more commercials than ever now. You see Wix commercials and stuff like that. And so it's really just like anything else, finding out, not every host is the same. Some have daily backups, some have weekly backups, some have sites, like some people have sites that they know aren't necessarily getting heavy foot traffic every single day.
Well, and here's another thing. When what I found out the hard way is, if there is an issue with because you remember, I had a person that was working on one of my events with me, gave them access to all the passcodes and passwords and all that stuff, made them an administrator, and they locked me. When I fired them, they locked me out of all of my everything, from my website.
Your own accounts.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Out of that, what's the thing on the website? What's that software called?
WordPress?
WordPress. I was locked out of that.
The site that I did for you?
Yeah. Remember when we were trying to transfer?
I don't remember that bad.
Yeah, I was transferring from the old place to the and I couldn't get in, and I literally had, from LinkedIn to Facebook to IG to WordPress, GoDaddy, I had to sign affidavits, send copies of my driver's license.
Wow, confirming your identity.
Because I turned everything over to this person, and they put in a two-step verification process. So when I tried to change passcodes and stuff, they would verify it by sending it to his phone.
Wow.
And so I couldn't do it. And it's
like he held your socials and stuff hostage.
It took 30 some days to get everything back. So that's why I push this and say to people, the price you pay for great hosting, it's an additional cost from the build of your website. Your SSL certificate is a thing. And then what you pay GoDaddy for your domain. So you have several hundred dollars worth of additional cost every year to maintain it. So that's the reason I say all that, is because you need to know in advance before you go and invest in a build out, what you're going to do with it, why you're doing it, who you're doing it for, and convey all of that to the person who is building it for you. How do you agree with
That's
that?
literally one of the first things that I try to figure out with you is what, because there's people that, they go get the GoDaddy website builder package, where that, that hosting, I can't, the way I build the websites, it's not compatible. So before you go and like, if you know you're going to be hiring somebody, before you go and spend $200-300 on a package that you don't really know what you're doing, it just there's plenty of people out there that are willing to. I mean, in website world, it's the most common way to get a client nowadays. There's more than enough people willing to get on a call for free or to do a quick consultation on that kind of stuff.
So I want to go now. First, I want to ask you, because there are a lot of things that we miss. So here come the tips, you guys. Here come the tips. Jordan, can you give us 3 things to look out for, let's say potholes, if you will, when you are moving into investing into a website? What are the 3 things that you really want to watch out for that could trip you up later?
Look at how they build the website, what they use. For example, I use WordPress, which with that, there's a lot of free utilities that I can use to extend it as far as functionalities, but there's also a lot of premium. So like, for example, with me, there might be some additional costs that even a year from now, you might have to renew a license, stuff like that. So looking at as far as that goes, or like do they just use Squarespace, Wix, those kind of things, where nothing wrong with them. I've in the past I've railed on them and completely talked crap, but now I'm to the point where I've seen some cool websites with them, so I can't I kind of got to bite my tongue a little bit.
Right.
But like you don't want a website where, unless you don't want anything to do with it after the fact of it being launched, unless you don't care about managing it and all that, or you're going to hire somebody to manage it, figure that kind of stuff out. Like kind of vet them. Like, what's the process? What is the post launch? I think is one of the most important things.
Right. Right.
Like, you almost want to know what post launch is going to look like before you even start working.
So what's one thing, Jordan, that you would say is a no-no as far as people looking at your site as non-user friendly?
Oh, right off the bat, I don't know why those menu links are doing that.
What menu links?
They're dropped down to second line. It's because the screen size right now for some reason, but I already see that's got to get addressed.
You mean these here?
Nope, next to it. Those are all supposed to be one line, but there's just some sizing going on there.
Okay, well, good.
So
I paid for it, so get in there and fix it.
I was gonna say that's something we got to fix right there.
So there's a benefit. So let's start at the top. Over here, we have the logo. Now, this is a thing up here that gets me sometimes.
The animation?
No, that the people have 25 of these to click on. Or, excuse me, or they have the 3 lines and you click on it, or you hit this and 5 things drop down. 3 more things drop down. 8 things. I don't like that. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's like crap.
It depends on the site. I mean, is it like, obviously like a purely informational site? It makes sense to have a library of content and pages. And
Jordan, in most cases, because I check it out. When I go in there, I click on all of it. And a lot of times I'll find stuff that is duplicated between the same stuff.
People do that. There's a lot of people they'll literally set up dang near the same pages for SEO for some. I don't know if it still works. That's something I kind of want to figure out in 2021, actually. Okay. For example, say you're a carpet cleaner. I've seen websites where they've got carpet cleaning, this zip code, carpet cleaning, this zip code, carpet cleaning, this zip code, where there's literally separate pages for each zip code or city, but it's pretty much the same content on it. Where the last I knew, that actually hurts you in Google. Okay. So like reusing the same blip a paragraph or whatever on different pages can actually hurt you.
Now talk about these things, because if you click on them, each one of these has like its own URL.
Right. Yeah. And that's where so like designing your website, kind of going back to how I called it a hub.
Yes.
That's what this was. We wanted basically a portal.
All my stuff to come together in one spot.
Right. And that's where those main tabs, like we which realistically that's probably changed a little in the last year or two, but this was the core of Lauren right here.
Yeah.
As far as like, your offerings, what you're trying to deliver, how the persona you're trying to present to the world, all here. Where basically it's the way I look at it, your website, whether it's a personal brand or business with e-commerce and stuff like that, like this is your 24/7 storefront where you could be fast asleep as a baby and the whole time you might have just got 20 leads that are going to change your life, all because this was out there.
Right. Right. So when it comes to, designing these different rooms inside the home of your website, do you work with people on what to provide? They have to come up with all of this content in here. So how do they get to the point to know what is important to put on each specific page?
Yeah, that's definitely something I try to walk through that even before we really get designing, kind of working, doing a little bit of like a wireframe as far as an outline, as far as not necessarily the full depth of what the text is and the content on it, but basically clarifying, okay, this page is, here's your speaker page. So what do we need to have on here? We need, that's your social proof right there.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested in booking you for speaking, which hopefully that's why they're on that page.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even have to reach out to you to figure out what you could speak on.
Right.
And that's where it's really just kind of simplifying things for whoever you're targeting. Like if you got to make people jump through hoops to figure out how to book you to speak, like, you think a lot of people are going to book you to speak?
Absolutely. And it needs
people want the fastest route,
Absolutely right. And I get a lot of compliments from people that have found me for opportunities that they didn't have to scroll back up to the top to go to what was next. This menu down at the bottom as well. I've heard that many times.
Really?
But I have, that they really appreciated that. Because they could keep going. A lot of people come in and they pop in. I'm not the only person they're looking at. They may have 7 people on their vetting list that day. Right. And so something as simple as this that stands,
that's true. That's
that
very
helps
true.
Stand out from the other 6 is a point in my favor of being hired. And I've heard that more times than fingers.
What you just said, you might have 7 people vetting, or they might be vetting 7 other people. People are doing that when they're trying to book or find somebody to clean their carpets, to walk their dog. Like,
exactly.
They're literally, people, like I said, people are getting smarter. That's kind of how we got to look at it. Where the early internet, people were kind of dumb, to say the least. Where like people were innocent.
Exactly.
People were like children on here. Where my mom is still a child on the internet. She's sharing out Facebook posts that are clearly scams for sweepstakes.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, but it, for me, I've been using the internet over half my life. Compared, like I've been using it longer than my mother, so I like, when you think about it that way, like, of course she doesn't know better. She's never been told. She's never been, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, I probably should just have a sit down with her,
right?
School her on the things, but
I want to hit,
or just let her learn the hard way. But
yeah, and you got to want to know. You've got to want to know. So this does not have to be intimidating. It is. It still is for me in a lot of ways, but that's another reason to have.
It's an amazing thing.
And it's a great,
it can change your life in a great way.
Well, and it's important. It also speaks to the need to have someone in your camp that you can trust when you start feeling you're out of your comfort zone. So let's talk about these connectors to my other social media platforms. I always have my coaching clients, first thing we do is we check all these to make sure that they actually redirect, because things can happen and they can get disconnected or something isn't working. And that is very frustrating to people who are trying to get intel on you. They're looking for your entire body of work, everybody. That's what they tell me they're always looking at. So this makes it easy for a person to check out your body of work without having to go out and type in your Facebook. And that's why you want these. I don't use all these all the time, but I have something on all of them all the time. Okay.
That's right.
Right.
Not every person that visits your website uses all those. They
No.
might only use Pinterest. They might
Right.
only use LinkedIn. You got to think about it that way.
Right. So one of the other things that is important, I'm going to head over to the contact, is I also many times I check with people and I say when you click on the place where, like, even at the beginning, where at the bottom there's is it on this page? No. It's at
One
the
of them
home.
had a form.
It does. We saw it's on the home page. It's on the I think it's down here too. Is it down here? Yeah.
Yep.
So I will sit there literally in that SEO inventory session and type my name in and everything, and then give it like 20 minutes, and I'll say to the person, so when someone is reaching out to hire you or give you an opportunity through your website, how soon do you get alerted that they reached in? Oh, immediately. I said, oh, so how do you get notified? Where do you get notified? Oh, I have it set up in my messenger or whatever. I said, so does it ring? Is it silent? No, it rings a bell. And I said, well, I didn't hear a bell ring. What do you mean? Well, I sent you one 20 minutes ago. You did? And then they'll go in there and they will, I just assumed it. They told me it. So what, Jordan, tell us about how important it is to check, recheck. It's wash, rinse, repeat. Talk about that.
And this is coming from the guy that's actually making the website. So definitely think about that when I say this.
Yes.
Because when I'm working on this thing, I might be looking at this website every day, all day for a week or two, or even a month or two while we're developing it.
Yes.
So, and I always forget the euphemism they use, but it's like, like my eyes get dry basically, while I'm sitting there looking at it, and it's, you're seeing the same thing. Like, I encourage people, and I feel like some people get weird about it because some people are like, well, that's your job. Why are you doing that? But I'm like, please look over it. Please, 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 because there could be typos. There might be a button that's not working. And because I'm on it all day checking stuff, for all I know, I could be like, oh, checked it. It was working when I checked it, but then I forgot to hit update. Like it's happened it's just like,
so you got to be on top of your
people
game.
forget to send emails because they thought they hit send.
Oh, messengers too.
Right.
Text messages. I'll come back a month later and it's still sitting there.
And not to say that it's like, that's just, everybody's done it. I really think everybody's done stuff like that. So it's
right.
I don't think like, it's definitely not a sign of somebody being incompetent. It's just, when you're looking at something all day,
a lot of stuff.
So I'm always like, please, like if we forgot to swap out any placeholder text pictures, and this is a month later, 6 months later,
right?
I'm like, because the thing about websites is they can break, especially like with your browsers that you use, whether it's because Internet Explorer's phased out, they got Edge now, you've got Chrome, Firefox, Safari for Mac, like, and there's other ones that people don't use. So it's you could not touch a website for a year or two, and all of a sudden, we saw it with your husband. He didn't touch his website for how long, and then poof.
Right.
And it's not that he didn't do anything. Like, it's not like it was necessarily anyone broke it.
Well, and he just went through something. He just went through something where he needed to put something new on there, and it wasn't compatible because of the plug-in or whatever from way back when. Wasn't compatible now. And so, and as a matter of fact, he needs to get that fixed. So he needs to talk to you. He still has.
I remember because that site was, and that he had, and that's the thing is that thing was done in like 2008. I think it says at the bottom.
I don't know.
And up until last year, it was fine.
Was just sitting, but now he needs an update. He needs an update.
That's where you can get away with it for so long, but then you gotta, like, these things are living and breathing on the internet. So like the social banner sizes, you gotta watch for them.
Well, we've been here. I cannot believe it. This hour is over already, and I think we might need to do a workshop, Jordan. We'll talk about that and let you guys know about it. Do a workshop together where you guys can come and get maybe.
I feel like we didn't even do the surface.
We didn't even
Yeah.
scratch the surface. But what I wanted to achieve here today, and I hope we've done that for you, is to, at the beginning of the year, if you want to be congruent, you want to gain momentum in your brand and your message and get your voice out there, now is the time. It is the best time for someone to peel back the curtain to find what they're looking for in you and within your message. But in order for them to find what they're looking for, you've got to have it there for them to find. So digitaldopecompany.com, co.com is on the screen. This is where you can go to continue the dialogue, find out what Jordan's rates are. I highly recommend him. He's the only person I've ever entrusted with all things digital for my brand. So there you go. There it is. I can't tell you anything better than that. 4 years going on 5. This will be our 5th one. And I have never been disappointed at all. So listen, thank you so much for joining us today. And anything you want to say in closing? What's your Jerry Springer moment for the folks?
Just thank you again, man. I can't express my gratitude for, I mean, this is our 3rd time, I think. And it seems like every time we do this, it's like we could go on. So I definitely think there's some value that we could dish out. So we definitely should.
There we go. The promise is where 2 or more come together.
And this overlay, man, I'm not even just being I was the designer of it. So now to actually be like, I was sending you mock-ups that had other people in it. So now I got to hit print screen quick.
Oh yeah, I'm going to hit that too. There we go. I can put that. There we go. And I'm going to put that out on my social media. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure as always, Jordan. Hang out in the green room because I want to set an appointment. There's something else I need you to do for me.
Okay, great.
And you guys, listen, come back tomorrow. Guess who's here? Guess who's here? Yes, that's right. There she is, the Oracle. She's going to be doing this out of retrograde reading for all of us. It's going to be a very spiritual moment, a great way to round out the week here on Bathrobe Moments. And a lot of great things next week, but I'll tell you about that tomorrow when you show back up. Get out there now and do what we do. Make it your life's mission to change everything you encounter, from good to better, from bright to brighter. All you have to do is be the blessing you want to see in the world and be the gift that you want in return from the world and beyond. Have a great, great day, you guys. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. Thank you, Jordan Gilman. And thank you all. Thank you for joining us here for Bathrobe Moments. We'll see you tomorrow morning, God willing, at 8 a.m. Central, and we'll do it all again. Show me your soul, and I promise I'll show you mine. Bye-bye.
Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind, but you